Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome into Uncle Steve's Lounge. It's the Monday Minutia, as we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. We had 24 hours to decompress, take our time, take a deep breath, exhale. Let's talk about what comes next for the Atlanta Falcons because it doesn't stop. Season didn't stop because of a loss. Now we go overseas to battle a wounded Jacksonville Jaguars team. How do you feel about it? And more importantly, was yesterday's bad loss enough to dim your optimism for the 2023 season? Let's talk about it. Hey, what is going on? How is everyone doing on this glorious Monday? Yes, in spite of even yesterday's loss, it is a beautiful day. We all woke up. We forgot about the loss already. We put it in our rearview mirrors and we're going to talk positivity, right? I hope so. And I know it's hard to do it, but we're going to muster on anyway. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate you. Welcome to those of you who are watching on YouTube, as well as those watching in the Atlanta Bird Game Facebook group. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Uh, as you're coming in, if you don't mind, if you're a regular watcher, please don't forget to hit the like button for me. And whether that's on the YouTube platform or the Atlanta Bird Game Facebook page. We appreciate it. Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. That was hard to watch. I mean, it 20-6 most of the time. You know, you don't score a touchdown. There are just a lot of things that we seems like we left on the table. But just overall, it just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't look right. You know, And I'm talking from the fan experience. The one thing that I don't know, and I listen to everyone. I listen to a lot of different opinions, and I try to put myself in the shoes of those speaking. Everyone can tell me about three technique and two tight ends and leaving the defense, the defense having gaps and not being disciplined to where you're supposed to be. And Richard Grant running all over the place and all of that stuff. From my fan perspective, even if all of that is true, that just didn't look good. And most of the folks are probably right. So from my fan perspective, not from a, you know, expert perspective, we talk about the fan perspective here. From a fan point of view, that was ugly. If we have Detroit, people that are around and We didn't get to talk as much to them as we did Carolina fans and Green Bay fans, and you know that makes a difference in this game of fandom. You live week to week in the NFL. Got a week's worth out of Carolina. Got a week's worth out of the Green Bay fans, which was probably a lot more. Uh, you know, that made a lot more sense because Green Bay's fans they're not as obnoxious as Philadelphia. They're not as bad as Pittsburgh, but they come in packs, no pun intended. And it was great to see them go home sad. So I want to know from you all's standpoint, is one bad loss enough to change your outlook for the 2023 Atlanta Falcons season? And I'll start it off. For me, I, I'm not going anywhere. So that is not a question as a fan. Have I given up on Arthur Smith? Nope, I haven't. Steve, did you watch the game? He's not doing things. He's not um, making bad decisions. Play calling is horrible. I haven't given up on him yet. Have you given up on Desmond Ritter? No. Nope. Steve, did you see those overthrows? Things look bad. Why you haven't given up on them? Looks pretty suspect to me. No, I haven't. So, Steve, where are you in this 2023 season? Well, I'm glad I asked. I think we're 2-1. We have 2 wins against 1 loss, 66% winning percentage, if my math checks out correctly. And the season isn't over yet. I think what we're coming into the realization of, folks, too, in the NFL, not only just looking at Atlanta, I think this is just one of those wacky seasons. It's gonna be when it's all said and done. Of course, you have the folks that everybody thought. Kansas City seems to be coming back to their own after the loss to Detroit. Philadelphia is steamrolling. Let's hope they keep the steam rolling today against our division rivals. Philadelphia, I mean, San Francisco with a Desmond Ritter-ish type quarterback. And when I say that, I mean second year, is leading his team to the top of the NFC. So many things that can happen in this season. And I'd rather start game 4 at 2-1 than 1-2 or 0-3. See Denver, see the Bears. So I just feel like all is not lost yet. Now, are there a lot of things I'm disturbed about? Yeah. I'm almost wondering, is Arthur Smith grabbing something, throwing it up against the wall, and saying, that didn't stick, let's just throw something else? Yes, I'm concerned. But I haven't given up. I haven't given up on the team. I saw so many things yesterday. I'm not a Twitter guy. I know I have a Twitter account, but I'm not a big Twitter guy. I think it's on Steve's Lounge, if I'm not mistaken, in case you see it. And it looks very dormant, but I'm not as big into it. But I did take a peek. Woo! Some of y'all need Jesus. I want to fire the head coach. I want to fire uh, Desmond Ritter. I want to get rid of Terry Fontenot. I saw the water boy at the game last week, and he missed the spot on the field. And I know it's turf. Just this get rid of everybody mentality, man. And I was ticked off yesterday. I was very upset. But I also noticed when I go back and look at past seasons and everything like that. Y'all remember Kansas City at the beginning of the year last year? I'm not comparing us to Kansas City as far as an organization right now, but I also say they started slow. We're not even starting slow. I think we started off pretty good. I think as much as the fans get totally into it, I believe an organization would probably look if we win one more game and we're 3-1, they'd look at that as a monumental success and a great start to a season. You know how they break it down to the quarters? They can't do it anymore because of 17 games, but you can pretty much. And I think as a Falcon fan, if I were to sit here and tell you I'm disappointed at a 2-1 start, I would be lying. Am I upset about how we looked this past weekend? Yes. Am I upset that we looked like we were overmatched? Yes. Am I upset that it looks like Arthur Smith truly might be? I don't know. I don't know because I'm not in the room in Flowery Branch, so I'm not going to insult his intelligence. But it seems like something's just not connected. But I'm not going anywhere. And I understand that people, we all do. From that, and I explained this at the beginning of the year, you have 17 chances at this thing, especially with a fan base. It's not baseball where you can lose 15-2 and then win the next two games and you win the series, and that's considered success. You got one shot. You got one shot at Detroit for the regular season, and that's it. Detroit has bragging rights over you for the next 12 months, barring you being in the same division. So from that standpoint, yeah, it hurts. That was an NFC game too yesterday, y'all. NFC game that later on might come back to haunt us. I hope not. But that being said, there's too much that has started differently, and the attitude and the culture is different. Maybe that was good for us to lose in game 3. Because guess what? We might lose in game 7 or game 12. We're gonna lose a couple of games, this year. I know everybody was, yeah, the aim is 17-0. Of course it is. It's not the first time we're gonna lose this year. Even if it's against a team that has no business winning a game. See Dallas and Arizona. See Baltimore and Colts. But I just one of the reasons I love the minutia and why I like doing it on Mondays after everybody has come out with the instant reaction to the game and stuff like that is just to take that time to just say, okay, where are we really? So since that's the first time we've had the bad taste in our mouth in the regular season, and everybody's got a chance to get out all that anger, angst, disappointment, ready to fire everybody. Probably somebody borrowed it, tore up their TV over the game, just that kind of nonsense. Y'all tell me, is one bad loss, and that's the question today. And I want to hear fans. I'm yes, I'm interested in hearing about the game. Don't get me wrong. We're always going to talk about the game. We'll talk about London. We'll talk about other stuff. Um, but I'd like everyone to answer that question for me, if you can. Is one bad loss enough to change your outlook for the 2023 Atlanta Falcons season? As horrible as it was, is one bad loss enough? Not for me, but I can't speak for everyone. Let's see what everyone else is saying and go into this chat. All right, let's start it off. Brother Dexter's in the house. What's going on, Dexter? Welcome into Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, if you all are coming in, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. We'll be here every Monday, 6 p.m. to talk about it. Y'all make sure y'all like the video, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook in the Atlanta Bird Gang group. Dexter says, I know Ritter ain't Mahomes, but name me one quarterback that can play behind a pass blocking offensive line right now. Not only that, the play calling ain't making no sense, no better either. Yeah, that's true. He also said, "Did you watch the?" You know what? Next time, let me tell you. Quite honestly, I saw your note. I got a little busy last couple of days. I'm gonna go back and see if I see that. But I did see because I answered you on the one part. I didn't go back and look at that other part. Give me a second later on, and I'll reply to you. I apologize, brother. Sean Glover is in the lounge. What's going on, brother? Say, oh, they jumping ship on Arthur Smith. See, that's what I'm talking about. And listen, after a game like that yesterday, it really is kind of weird to hear the, the rumbles about let's fire Arthur Smith, folks. He had a horrible day at the office. He had a horrible day at the office. And no, I don't want that extrapolated out into the season to say let's accept horrible days. But the man's 2-1. He can say that. Give him a yeah, give him the old fighting chance. Ghost Pepper's in the house. What's going on? Say, Uncle Steve, what's good? What's good with you, Ghost? Glad to see you. Lisa Shepherd is here, fresh, I'm sure, off of a Detroit trip. She says, may that be our worst game of the year. I hope so. We never established an offensive rhythm at all, and I think that's why Arthur Smith is taking the heat. He should. If you're a head coach slash play caller, you get it doubly. Last year, before last year, Andy Reid didn't have to worry about taking the heat. That was Eric Bieniemy. The coordinators usually take that heat. Dwayne Green is in the house. What's going on, man? How you feeling, brother? He said it was real ugly. Smitty, give me one. You know what, Smitty? I forgot to send that. Give me a second, Smitty. Let me get through this personal chat part, and I'll hook you up. Brother 95 North, Berto is in the house. Him and Smitty again. If y'all didn't get a chance, man, y'all check out Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North Falcon Talk Show. They check out that replay. Hot video with the legend himself, the guy that I wish was on that defensive line yesterday, John Abraham. Very good stuff. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. Lisa said, no, it's a 17-game season. We're going to week 4. This loss doesn't change my overall outlook. Let's see how we look in the upcoming games. Then we can revisit this question. And it's a fair question, though, Lisa. I don't want to act like I'm being a jerk about it, but I am saying it's fair. It's fair to ask. Even this early. Ask Denver fans how they feel about the Broncos. Ask the Bears fans how they feel about Chicago. It's not too early. Berto says, we just need to stick to the script and run the doggone ball. Yes, I agree. I agree with you. Sean says, I was done with Arthur Smith before he called his first play. Oh, man. Y'all are crazy. John Brooks is in the house saying, Aunt Ritter isn't ready for this type of speed in the NFL. The game overtaking him, and he's going to get himself hurt. It's kind of interesting, man. I don't want to be that guy, folks. Let's see if he's gonna adapt, because right now I don't know whether it's Arthur Smith making him look bad or is it Desmond Ritter making Desmond Ritter look bad in moments. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and try to pretend like the offensive line didn't come to work. They didn't come to work yesterday. They didn't. Flat out simple, did not come to work. And that's not good for that young man. That's not good for him. When you have somebody that whose skill set may not be in the top half of quarterbacks, you got to look out for them. And I don't think they did him any favors yesterday. But I'm still willing to give him an opportunity as well. I still have my doubts. Those doubts have never left. And not doubt about his character or about his, uh, leadership and all that. Miss me with all that uh, dramatic, emotional nonsense. I'm just trying to see if the brother can play football, if he can play quarterback in the NFL. Everybody can't. Whether they're third rounders, second rounders, first rounders, how many people have fallen by the wayside because they just couldn't do it? But it's not fair to throw it all on him if he doesn't have the opportunity to, you know, he doesn't have the opportunity to throw the ball. Smart Rod says, I don't have very high expectations for this coach or quarterback, so I'm not phased at all. I only see 8 wins this season. That one Falcon fan, what's up, man? Said, good evening, Unc. After 24 hours, I feel like I have overreacted too much. I have been too hard on Ritter in the defense. After watching the highlights, Ritter had some good throws and some bad throws, and that's a fair statement. I don't think it's a did and I said it yesterday, and I stand by that. Yesterday was not oh dang, Ritter. That wasn't one of those games. The first game, fair game. Yesterday, no, you can't throw if you're not getting blocked. If you're not getting your blocks, you can't run if you're not getting your blocks. Detroit manhandled us yesterday. There is no other scenario to say it. They manned up and they beat the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. No slip up, no slip by, no nothing like that. They beat us yesterday. And as a fan, it's frustrating. Sean says, but I'd rather lose to the Lions at 1-1 than 0-2 Arizona. You bet your bottom dollar. And especially if you look at some of the folks coming up on our schedule, folks. These are teams you don't want to be losing to. Jacksonville took it on the chin yesterday. They're 1-2. We come back home. Houston is awaiting. The Commanders are waiting. Tennessee is waiting. Folks, these are folks that you don't want to sit here and act like, you can't beat these teams. It's kind of hard to tell whether this is the team we saw yesterday whether that was just an anomaly or if that's what we're going to get for the rest of the season. Here in the lounge, we got a special guest coming in here. The aforementioned Smitty is in the house from Spitty Sports Machine. What is going on, buddy? How you feeling today?
What's up, Uncle Steve, man? I done calmed down a lot, so I think I get where you coming from.
Yeah. Before you and I get into anything, I gotta ask you, man. That was some awesome kudos to you and Berto yesterday. That was, and I tell y'all again, if y'all don't get a chance, go back and look at the replay that Smitty and Berto had with John Abraham, folks. To have one of the legends sit in with one of my boys, man, and it was cool to watch, and I'm glad that I was able to check that out. Tell me how that experience was yesterday, and tell the folks about what you got coming up on deck if they haven't heard already.
Yesterday, man, it was like no other, man. To be honest, man, John Abraham, man, he treated me and Berto. He treated us just like, we just like him, a celebrity. We actually got to meet him in person right after the meet and greet. So he's shown us love, and I think he's going to probably be on the show a little bit more because I think he's going to get into podcasting. So just if you see him more, just don't be surprised. Coming up tomorrow at 8 o'clock, me and Berto will be speaking with Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor inductee Todd McClure. We call him Mud Duck. We will be talking to him about career. He has some things on the horizon as well. And y'all know, we talked about the offensive line and what the troubles look like. What better to do than talk to somebody that played the position and understand what's really going on? So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock for Todd McClure. gonna have a ball, man. Me and Berto, we're gonna do our thing, and we're gonna put on for y'all, man.
I, that's some awesome stuff, Smitty. I just want to ask publicly: is it okay to be your friend now that you're going into these higher
Hey,
places?
man. Hey, we were waiting on you yesterday, man. We were waiting on you yesterday to jump on.
Okay. So full disclosure, real quick. So
Yeah.
I the first couple of games of the year, uh, obviously the opening game and the other games were at home. So I have to leave church service early, and in the first case, I didn't even go for the opening. So this was a away game, and I want to make sure I'm pulling my weight as one of the leaders in the church. So I want to make sure that I'm paying my dues, and so I ended up leaving a little late. Of course, I was very nice about
God
it.
come first, man. God bless you, so God come first.
Always.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of pay my dues as far as that's concerned. But I do appreciate the buying. I just messing with you. I know y'all did a great job, and I was listening to y'all the whole way coming home, man. So awesome stuff. I'm gonna go through a couple of these, man, and then I'm gonna get a chance to come back to you in 1 second, and we'll go through some of these comments again. If you're in the chat, appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. If you're on Uncle Steve's Lounge or Smitty Sports Machine, we thank you so much for joining us on this Monday for the Monday Minutia. Thank our special guest Smitty in here. Lisa Shepard says, I'm along for the ride, whichever way it goes. If it goes up, we'll turn it up. If it goes down, then we'll have to hear from Blank on his plans for the future of the franchise. That one Falcon fan says, plus he had Lions pass rushers jumping on his back like 15 times behind the line of scrimmage. Also, the pass rush is a work in progress. Arthur Smith has to get better with his game plan. My buddy PJ is in the house. What's up, PJ? Says, seems like Arthur Smith was trying to prove Ritter can throw instead of running the dang ball. What the man? Kind of interesting that we tried to attack passing. We threw 38 times. We talked about this all preseason. That's not the formula for this team, man. So talk about how you felt when you saw us attacking instead of going what had seemed to be our strength early on.
I think they just, well, I can't say that word because I don't want to get you fined. But I just feel like they just did things backwards, man. Why not stick with your bread and butter? You ran for 211 yards the week before. Now, I know Detroit came in the game giving up only 86 yards, but at the same time, they had a lot of injuries on the back end of the defense. And I think Atlanta offensive line just underachieved the whole game. They just act like they forgot how to block. And I also, I was kind of disappointed with Arthur Smith not dialing up more plays to get the ball out a little bit faster. If he had done that, I feel like they could have beat some of those blitzes, called more draw plays. So it was a group effort as to taking the blame yesterday. But as far as the offense, you got to stick to your bread and butter. 211 yards last week. Bijan Robinson had 124 yards last week and only had 10 carries this week. So just make that make sense.
I as I was listening early on to the game, because like I said, I was still in the building, I was listening to it and I was saying to myself that they doing it. Was that a page out of New Orleans where you go for the long pass? And again, don't get happy with that. You have been winning by grinding these games out. And I just feel like to change your identity, I don't know. I do not proclaim to be.
You know what it was. I think it was more that they were reading to analytics this game. They came in, Detroit came in giving up 268 yards a game, which was bottom 5 in the league, and 354 yards total a game. So they just, I guess, went into this game. This is a team we probably can attack. But what better way to attack a team? Beat them down at the line of scrimmage, then take your shots downfield. So I just think they underestimated this team, point blank. And they came to play and we didn't.
It might be that plain and simple. We didn't. Smitty, we had somebody that was a little like they might have been a little disappointed yesterday that they got charged. It seemed like it's a new listener. His name is Big Low
Uh,
Country Sports. He has a super chat. So we're going to acknowledge him. Thank you for the super chat. He says he got charged $50 to send Smitty a text this morning. Now, I want you to address, is this true that you overcharged this young man just to have him text you?
I have no clue what he talking about. My phone just as free as all I doze.
That's our buddy, man. Big Low Country. Y'all make sure y'all check him out, man. I know it was a interesting coaches meeting yesterday, man, after the game. But that is yeah, I think we were all in that place yesterday. And I see a lot of other people. I'm jumping in here because we got a lot of people in the chat, folks. So if I run by
thank y'all
name,
for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in.
This is the greatest problem to have, Smitty, when you have this many people passionate enough to want to get their ideas out. And I know I hopefully I speak for Smitty Sports Machine, and when I say that's a great problem to have when you have
yes, it is,
that want to jump in, and we absolutely appreciate it. I see Abel in here say, "What's up?" This felt like the playoff game against the Giants when we scored 2 points. I do remember that game. My brother Larry from the Dixon Way is in the house. What's going on, Larry? Larry has, of course, live reaction sports on his channel, the Dixon Way. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on YouTube. He said he's ready to hear what we got to say. We have been talking for a quick second here. I'm going to also acknowledge Mills, 1967, concerned about the offensive line play and the play of Ritter, and, of course, Arthur Smith play calling. But I still believe we will make the playoffs this year. I have my mother in the chat. Hello, Mom. How you doing? She
Mama
said,
Johnson, how you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, and I'm like I told y'all before, man. Look, I put my mom against anybody that think they know some Falcon stuff, and I mean this from the heart. When she's talking about it, she's not Miss. Oh, they wear bright colors and all that. No, she talking about play calling. So Bob says
man.
not ready to throw all of our Falcons in the wind, but the coach is another consideration. So again, we all see it. We see it, folks. It keeps coming up. 3 Dirty in the house, our buddy. 3, what's going on, brother? He says
North Carolina
videos
in the
that
house.
you did before the season was a warning of expectations, and crowning players have come full circle. Support the logo. 2-1 is not a reason to finger point. And I know he's been on your platform and my platform. 3 Dirty keeps it real. We talk about that all the time. This is a tough start. But Smitty, I don't know if I put the direct question to you yet, but does one bad loss dim your outlook for the 2023 season?
Nope, not at all. It's still 15 games, 14 games to go. So out of those 14 games, we still got a chance to win 14 games. So why would one game change your mind? You got to understand this is a young quarterback. Arthur Smith, like I told y'all, I don't think he can develop a quarterback. So he needs to find a way to keep that ground game consistent, to help Desmond Ritter develop, to help him go through his reads. And they just need to stay in the film room a little bit longer.
What did you say, Smitty? Lock the door and throw away the key?
Yeah,
is that what you said?
Lock the door and throw away the key. Lock the door, throw away the key, and just make sure they don't pass gas. And make sure you got air freshener.
He said, make sure you have the sense in the room when you turn on the fan too if you can. Make sure you do. Ghost Pepper said, nope, he's not quitting. He says quitting because you don't want to be uncomfortable. Will prevent you from growing. That being said, Dirty Birds will always have my full support. Absolutely. Got another super chat here in the house. Go down here. I apologize. Man, talking tonight. I love it. William Banham. Banham. I hope I'm saying that right. Do you think Smith shaves that horrible mustache now? Well, thank you first for the $10 super chat. And Smitty, what are the odds that we see the
Oh man.
mustache leave Coach Smith? It was a funny thing to talk about in the
Hey,
press conference, but now
he
after a
need,
whooping like that, what you think?
yeah, trying to shave it off. That thing might be bad. Um, I think it's got more to do, with Arthur Smith with that mustache. I think he trying to make that part of his persona. So just let him be. But if he want to cut it off, cut it off.
I agree. I say the same thing. Thank you so much again, William. Thank you for the support for both of the channels. We appreciate you, man. Uh, NLMB, what's going on? Said, I don't get why we are bringing kickers to compete and push with two, but no quarterbacks to push Ritter. It's an interesting thought. I know they the brother Vizcaino. If y'all don't know who he is, y'all make sure y'all check out Smitty. He had a short on it a little bit earlier in the day where he broke that down in addition to talking about Troy Anderson's injury. What do you think about that, Smitty? Is it just well, I know what you said on the video. I'm gonna let you go ahead and expound on what you're saying. What do you think the signal is bringing in Vizcaino to kick?
I just think it's a safety precaution. I think you have to put heat up under the players' feet, and y'all know Arthur Smith preach competition, so that's all it is. It's just competition. Young Way Cool got paid a lot of money a couple of years ago. Well, a lot of money for a kicker a couple of years ago, so he's got to perform. He missed 5 kicks last year. I think he missed 3 kicks over 50 yards last year, and the year before that he only missed 1. So it's just about trying to help him keep his head on straight. So sometimes you have to put a fire up under players, to make them perform better. So he's got to use that leg and practice just a little bit harder kicking through the upright.
And let's keep it real as far as what we're talking about. I mean, I know it's 3 games, so I don't want to totally, throw him under the bus, but he's actually only missed 2 kicks this year. He missed 1 field goal and 1 extra point, right? Isn't that
1
correct?
extra point, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
1 extra point and 1 field goal. But when you're paying him what you're paying him, the expectations are probably a little bit higher for him. So we got to see.
And let me say this too. We've had 35 possessions, 5 touchdowns. If you get in the end zone a little bit more than that, you kicking more extra points, which gives the kicker a little bit more incentive to be a little bit more accurate, keeps his leg loose. So get in the end zone more.
We got to do better, man. This is our buddy John Harris in the house. I don't know why he going by this little name here, but that's our buddy. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. He said, "This is why I'm standing. This is why my standing prediction for all Falcon seasons is 4-14. I told y'all that this still is a rebuild in progress with a on-the-job training quarterback and coaches. It's 4-14 for those.
I got to disagree with that one, Uncle Steve.
Go ahead.
Disagree with that one.
Talk about.
Think about this. You had 2 7-10 seasons with piss poor roster. Then you go out and spend over $100 million on superstar players, and you still saying 4-14 is what they're gonna be. If they're gonna be 4-14, that's a problem. If they go out and spend money to better this team and be better than 7-10, they got to win at least 11 games to even think about bringing Arthur Smith back. You got to get them a reason to want to bring Arthur Smith back. So he's on a tightrope. And I'm not talking about after this game. I'm talking about at the end of the season when the final record is said and done. He better not be up below 500. That's all I got to say.
Woo. I'm right there with you, brother. I think 4-14 or 4-13. He says we'll lose by 6 on the bye week. I get what he's saying, but just I know I'm not in that boat with him, but
Only
got
John.
Another super chat in here, man. X1K Trey 4. We appreciate you, man. $10 super chat. Says, I feel like Arthur Smith needs to give the play calling up and just coach the team. We need a real offensive coordinator. Too much talent to not be putting up 24 a game. Defense played great. Smitty, I got to throw. First of all, thank you so much, Trey, for the $10 super chat. Got to put this in your pocket right here, Smitty. If we give up the play calling, that means Dave Ragone. I'm not sure if I know which is the worst of the evils. So, what's your thought?
No,
Your initial
no,
thought of
no,
doing that?
no. If you give up the play calling to a guy that holds the clipboard and orders DoorDash every quarter, that says a lot by Arthur Smith. But he should have brought in an offensive coordinator that could help him with the pass game, a competent play caller. And to me, I think the best offensive coordinators are quarterbacks. So you go out, if Arthur Smith stays this year and comes back next year, you got to come in with a different offensive coordinator. And as I said, me and my boy was talking earlier, man. We were talking about Steve Sarkisian. We gave him hell. But if you look at Dirk Cutter, Arthur Smith, and what's the other offensive guy name? But you look at the other three offensive coordinators outside of him, he was the most consistent. So Dave Ragone, look at what he did in Chicago. That's all you need to see with him. That's why I don't understand why we brought him back to Atlanta. It just didn't make sense.
Had to fill a parking spot, man. That the OC parking spot was empty, so they needed somebody to fill that spot up. Flowery Branch. It was an empty spot up there.
It's this guy. It's this guy there named Matt Ryan, who I don't think gonna play again. You got to put in a phone call for him to come in and help tutor this quarterback, do some in the film room. Because let's be real, Arthur Smith was an offensive lineman. The run game is all he's concerned about. So how is he going to help develop a quarterback? He didn't help develop Ryan Tannehill. He was a veteran already. Matt Ryan didn't have to develop him. He was a veteran already. Marcus Mariota, veteran already. So this is just the true nature of Arthur Smith not being able to develop a quarterback. The only way he develops is that he be consistent with the run game and he develop on the field.
Smitty, I think we're going to have to pause for 1 second and just acknowledge the greatness of our next guest. His name is Big Low Country, and we just honor his presence here in our humble chat. Now that royalty has arrived, thank you, Low. Thank you for joining us.
What's going on, fellas?
What have we done to deserve your presence, sir?
Hey, I'm first of all, it's always great to be able to collaborate with friends. It's always great to get together with your friends and collaborate, man.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing that y'all would allow me to come on here. Thank y'all so much.
It was. Smitty just told me 1 second ago. He said, "What is this?" I said, "Man, why did you let him in there?" I don't know. I just had to.
How y'all doing, man?
Brother, how you doing?
All right, man. We doing all right, bro.
That's good, man.
Having a good time. So look, Lo, got to put you in the fire, man. Got to put you in the fire.
Got to.
Smitty asked the question. It's the question of the minutia today, man. And make sure as y'all coming in again, y'all know y'all all supporters of Big Low Country Sports, Smitty Sports Machine, and hopefully Uncle Steve's Lounge. Make sure y'all hit up them like buttons. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. The question of the day, Lo, is one bad loss enough to change your outlook for the 2023 Atlanta Falcons season? Yes, we are considering yesterday a bad loss. So what do you think, buddy?
No. I don't consider it. I don't think it's one of those cases where it changes your outlook for the season because, you know, we're still in the first quarter of the season. So, I mean, now if we would have been in week 12 and, you know, we only scored 6 points and, you know, I mean, that would have been different. But now it's like, you know, this is where we're at. Now, I don't think it changes the outlook of the season. I feel like it's a situation where coach might need to change the outlook of how he's planning for these games. And like I said yesterday, Smitty, he might need to consider doing a little bit of overtime and kind of consider how he approaches things. But as far as like my outlook,
Right.
it doesn't change it.
Smitty said he's gonna lock him in a room.
Uh-oh.
He said no. To lock him in a room and throw away.
I was trying to figure out what was different about Smitty. I was like, did I see he ain't holding the microphone? That's what it was.
Oh, hey!
That's what it was.
Hey, Smitty.
I got me a new earpiece, so I'm good to go.
Oh, okay.
You sound great.
Yeah, you sound good.
You sound great, man. And see, Lo, you talk about that man microphone all that time.
You the one to talk about the microphone. You the one that kept talking about it.
Nah, hey, that was Berto. But
oh, you gonna throw Berto on the foot?
He ain't here yet. So appreciate y'all joining in the chat. I'm gonna run to some people that we haven't heard from, but always are here positively. ATL Focus in the house says, what has worried me? What has worried every team we played had players out mainly on the offensive line, and we still don't dominate. That's something to think about. Coach Andre Davis is in the house. Said, what's up, Unc? After Woosaw all night. Hey, we lost. It's in the past. Now let's go win. Absolutely. Travis says, one bad loss doesn't change my outlook, but this game was a reminder when we said after Carolina to not just be content because we won. We have a lot of issues that need to be worked out. We also have one super chat. Thank God we got our buddy Big Low in here to do his special thing, even though I have heard through the grapevine that his voice was suspect. So I don't know what you got, Low. Let's give it a test run.
Okay. So you go. This is what you want to do. You okay? You don't want the bear. Greg, appreciate you. He says bad game, but better team. I'll still say 10 to 11 wins. We were one roughing the passer call away, and he said Ruffin, Ruffin, because I'm the David Ruffin of the group. Passer away call from the playoffs last season.
Boy, you taking cheap shots.
I like that.
With the worst roster that we have now. So definitely appreciate it, Greg. That's that dun dun dun. That's a Superman chat.
There you go. First of all, catch your breath because we don't want you dying on air. And second, he know good and well. Smitty, you know Coach Roney in the background with some oxygen. Come on, baby. Get out. Before we move on, man, that's my buddy Greg for Greg's Custom Kicks, man. Let me let y'all look at these things, man. Greg hooked this up for me at the beginning of the year. They were worn to both games this year. Hooked up with these custom shoes. I've been waiting for him to come back in here because Greg did a great job. Turned them around real quick for me. Y'all make sure y'all check Greg out at Greg's Custom Kicks. He'll be in there. Make sure, Greg, throw your link in the chat if you can, brother. And we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Y'all can catch him on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Hey, man.
Beautiful shoes. Beautiful shoes.
Y'all are so awesome on social media, man. I'm still trying to catch up. I got to catch up on some of that stuff. I'm just not there yet. Let's go to a couple of people again. We haven't seen. Terrence Jones is in the house. What's up, Terrence? Say, what's up, Unc? Who do you blame? Authors blank? Probably like, please, not this again. When you start seeing him on the field, believe change is coming, and I can see something happening by week 8. Another question for both of y'all, since I'm so glad to have y'all both here for real, because to bounce this off other people. How long is the leash? Again, taking into consideration, we all agree we're giving him time. How long of a leash before you make a dramatic move? And dramatic move could mean either change of quarterback or change of coach. What would it take this season to make a dramatic move? Um, I'll start with you, Smitty. So in other words, like at what week would you say, you know what, we got to turn this thing around and make a change?
I think a quarterback change to come before a coaching change. And the reason why I say that, they have a competent starting quarterback sitting behind Ritter. And I don't think Arthur Smith is going to wait like he did last year to make a change. I think by week 8, that's halfway through the season, you know what you got in Desmond Ritter. That would be his 12th game. So if he's not up to par by then, we could possibly see a quarterback change. But as far as head coach, I don't think a change is coming. If it does come, it's going to be after the season.
Talk to me, Lo.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Arthur Smith, I feel like if I just feel like they're going to wait this whole season and see how this season ends. Now, if it gets to the point where we're just not picking up onside kicks, you know, like the Dan Quinn era, and we're just out there looking completely incompetent, they might make a move during the season. But I feel like as of right now, they're going to wait the duration of the season and see how the season ends, and then kind of make a decision. Please, everybody, I'm not saying he's on the hot seat. I know that's a trigger word for a lot of people. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat.
That we're not saying that. That's not what we're saying. No.
Yeah.
Some people will take that and run with it.
It's a hypothetical if. It's a hypothetical if.
Hypothetical. Jeez, calm down. Speaking of Jesus, this next super chat is making me laugh in the background. Christy Lewis. Thank you, Christy. With the 499. Christy said this Falcons rebuild is taking longer than my church's building fund.
Ain't even put a doorknob on the church.
Oh, man.
Good. That's rough right there, boy. That's rough.
Christy say, that's funny. Christy, we appreciate you. Let me see if Big Lo's voice is cleared up. Hit her, Lo.
Okay. Christy, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it. That's that dun-da-da. That's a super duper mansion.
Pretty soon, Smitty. I don't even know what to do with this cat, man. Got more royalty in the chat. Miss B is in the house. How you doing, Miss B? She said, "What's up, Uncle Steve, Smitty, and the dude that's singing? Appreciate it." I think my mom says Smitty says she thoroughly enjoyed your and John Abraham interview. So my mom is watching y'all and support.
Hey, thank you, Mama Johnson. Appreciate it.
She is always. She said underneath. She said, "I'm waiting for Lowe's voice to get better. Then I'll watch him." I think that's what it says over here. I think that's.
I don't see it.
I can't see the other part. Oh, yeah.
I don't see
it. The X-rated Slanging Wood 29 says, "I believe Abraham."
What?
What?
I thought about that yesterday. I just didn't say nothing. But, go ahead.
Hey man, I can't make these names up, but it caught your attention. Slanging Wood, not 29. Says, "I believe Abraham will eventually have his own podcast, dude." And yeah, he's actually really good on there. And Smitty, for y'all to bounce off up back, with you guys bouncing back and forth. That was really awesome. Awesome listening yesterday. Douglas, right here. Douglas Farrington is in the house, and my Falcons will win the next game. We lost one game, no big deal. And yeah, I hear you. I don't want to say it's not a big deal. The way they lost was a big deal. I think these days you don't have room for moral victories, but 2019, 2017, give us a little bit of fight. would have been a little better. Just yesterday, you just got the feeling yesterday we were stuck in the mud all game, in my opinion. Was there any point with you guys that you thought there was an actual chance we were going to break through and make a comeback? And I'm gonna see if we agree with the moment that you thought. But was there any time, starting with you, Smitty? What
I can tell you exactly when it was. When Jesse Bates picked that ball off and put us inside the 50, that was supposed to be the turning point in the game. We score on that drive, it changed the whole complexity of this game. And tell me I'm wrong. You get back to the run game, then open up the pass. Yeah, that would have been the moment.
Set him up.
Now that's when we missed the field goal, right?
No, we went.
No, they went forward on fourth down.
Four and out.
We went four and out there, didn't we? Okay. And to me, I felt like whenever we missed that field goal, I was like, because that could have turned into a single score game. And I was like, unless a big play happens, I don't see us getting down there again. So
I think when we were all chatting yesterday, I was saying that the defense was going to have to score. We were at a point in the game where the defense would have to do something dramatic, and they did. And I think we were doomed once they didn't do anything.
Yeah, because think about it, Think about it. At the 43-yard line, you got two guys 6'4" or taller, sling it down the field, push it down the field, and two pass plays probably would have got us a touchdown. Then that makes the score 13-10, and that definitely swings the momentum. But
at that point,
competent play calling,
Smitty, at that point, it's a punt. You know what I'm saying? If they intercept it, it's a punt. And it's not like if you didn't watch the game and just watched the little run through that Jared Goff did, you thought Detroit dominated. Detroit was having a hard time yesterday. They didn't have an easy time with the Falcons defense. But if you go 3 and out, 8 straight times, at some point, you're going to get tired. You're going to get tired. I don't know.
And the only big play that they had was to throw to Sam Laporta. That's it. Other than that 45-yard touchdown reception, that's the only big play they had.
That pretty much summed it up. Our brother Travis Preston is in the house with a super chat. He said, I'm glad that Big Low Ruffin can finally bring some stability to this chat. Can I be playing? Well, first, Travis, we are muting you for the rest of the chat for making that horrible distinction of Low being the best singer. I'm not even going to let him do a super chat on this one. I'm going to give you Thanos chat. A Thanos.
Oh, man.
You see how they do you, man. You see they try to put that glass ceiling over your head to restrict your elevation. That's what they do. You can't put my light out, Uncle Steve.
Dude, tear that thing up. You've been Batman with Commissioner Gordon tore up the back seat. Oh man. And let's stop ignoring some of these folks in here. Eric Mack is in here. He said it has something to do with the grinding. I hope that's not a
that was kind of X-rated too. So
yeah. Tay Neal said, "Damn, these Mondays starting to get."
This is a family-oriented show, people.
Tay Neal says, "I think we should go for O tackle, O line in the draft." Wow, we already think of draft. Ritter can't do nothing if he's getting killed, which is fair to say. But listen, folks, we invested a lot of money on that right side, and it's game 3. Let me ask y'all this real quick before we jump back into the chat.
150 million to be exact.
150 million. So we talked about the differences when we all were growing up in the 80s and 90s, and there was one time they used to have 6 preseason games. And when we grew up, coming off of those 6 and then turned into 4 preseason games, you got the feeling that teams were more battle tested. Everybody didn't sit back in the 80s and 90s a lot in those preseason games. Now you got it where, the NFLPA, and I get it, they're looking out for injuries and players and stuff like that. Do y'all think players are actually ready by week 1 of the regular season with only a little bit of time on the field? Keeping in mind, too, some of these injuries are cropping up. I'm not talking about stuff like Nick Chubb. I'm talking about, hamstring injuries, things like that. Is that because their bodies aren't quite football ready? If you know what I mean, what you think about that first, Lo?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you see these early season injuries are at all time high, and you it's crazy because like with all of the sports science, that we have, they could, and the prehab, which is the complete opposite of rehab. Whenever they do the, look at the technology or how your body moves and everything to determine what you need to work on so you don't get injured. You would think those injuries would go down, but I mean, back in the 70s, whenever these NFL players were only making $20,000 a year, and they were working in construction jobs and smoking cigarettes at halftime, they wouldn't get hurt as much as they are now, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's crazy, man.
What you think,
And I think when they took the physicality without the pads out of training camp, I think it just killed everything, man. How can you prepare for a season not playing with your pads on? I talked to Jesse Tugger a couple of years ago, interviewed him, and he talked about the way practice is now versus 30 years ago. How else can you be prepared to come in hitting somebody else when you can't hit the people in front of you every day? So that was a big mistake. Cutting down one preseason game was a mistake. And to be honest, they need to overturn some of these rules about not being physical with the receiver. I understand you want the game to be a little bit more high schoolish and things of that nature, but sometimes you got to have things old school to make the team be better than what it is. Because sometimes these coaches that teach the game the old school way, it's like they getting shut out. And the guy that teaches the new school way, they have all the advantages because they teach in today's game instead of yesterday's game.
And also to add on to that, piggyback off your thought, they're about to go to 18 games. That was the compromise for them to go to 17 games. So pretty soon you're gonna only have 2 preseason games in the next. I think when is the next bargaining agreement over 26 or 27?
Yep, 26.
Somewhere 26. So look for them the owners are gonna post that in there because all they're gonna do is say, we'll give you this, you get 18 games worth of full money. And what player is gonna turn that down? I think it's funny. I think they are adding a second bye week. That was the proposal last time, Lo, to add that second bye week, but they're going for 18 games.
Yeah, but if they not gonna raise the players' salaries or the pay scale, there's no point in doing that.
They'll do it. And this is the biggest game in the country. Let me ask y'all a question. When the last time y'all heard about the Braves? In these last 3 weeks?
I mean,
very little.
I tell you, I hear about Braves all the time. Shouts out to Larry and the Dixon way. Because Larry's always, Larry's always keeping us up to date with them Braves, man.
Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I mean the saturation of football is real.
Yes,
the saturation of the NFL is real. Maybe I should say, let me change this. Maybe I should say on the weekends. When's the last time you heard about the Braves? That maybe I should put it in that perspective. And now, I was going to where you're talking about money. Dude, football is the most popular sport in North America.
Right.
As much
compared to 30 years ago when Michael Jordan was playing, basketball was the thing to be. But when Barry Sanders and all those guys came on the scene, it switched over to football.
Yeah, yeah. And the marketing was great. And we can dog Roger Goodell all he wants to. Roger Goodell just keep getting those owners richer and richer, richer
Yeah.
and
Yep.
richer, bringing in gambling. Who would have thought gambling would be intertwined? You see gambling commercials legally on, and it bet some old time mobsters back that already died. Like, oh man, from the grave. Hey, that's that made our money for us. So you know,
Exactly.
it's crazy, man. Let me acknowledge again, y'all. We got so many people, and again, appreciate everyone coming in. Y'all make sure if y'all on either platform, make sure y'all put the likes in the videos. Make sure we you know, are
Help us hit that YouTube algorithm by mashing the like button.
Smitty says it's so much better than anybody else.
And
Absolutely.
don't forget to press that notification bell too, because every time one of us pop up, you'll know it.
That's it.
Appreciate that, Smitty. Got Sugar and
Hey,
Meg in the house. I'm sorry. Go, Lo. Go ahead, Lo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just been saying I'm actually going to get ready to jump off, fellas. I just wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
come on here and chop it up with y'all for a little bit. I'm actually finna do a little hate watch party of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers because we can't have them leading the division. So
Honestly, Smitty.
Oh man,
Honestly, Smitty. His voice left him after all that screaming he did on them last two super chats.
it's a
His
difference
voice
between
actually left
screaming
him.
and
So,
singing.
so
It's two completely different things.
oh,
It sounds like it sounds like you have hated not just in your heart but in your voice. That's what it sounds like. You need to.
I go Teddy Pendergrass on there. You got.
boy, y'all
Low.
out of control.
Y'all make sure y'all check out Big Low Country Sports, man. He gonna go over there and fight the good fight. We appreciate you, my friend. You take care of yourself. Me and Smitty gonna roll in here for about another 10, 15 minutes and get some of these comments up and stuff. Thank you as always for joining us. Tell them where you at, Low.
Hey man, uh, y'all already know where we at. We over here. It's crazy because I heard somebody doing a show the other day, and it was like, tell them where you at. And first thing popped in my mind was, you can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs. So I don't know why. I guess that's just all that music in my heart and soul. Whenever I just hear things like that. So, but
TV
anyway,
just cracked. Hold on. What happened over there? TV
well,
just cracked.
I'm over at Big Low Country Sports, man. Thank you so much for having me on. Smitty, shouts out to you, man. Y'all already know what time it is. It's great to collaborate with friends. It's
Appreciate you, brother.
thing.
Much love, man. Good
No
luck.
doubt.
Good luck out there.
Definitely,
Hey, you got a new name now. It's Big Low Ruffin. So always remember that.
Don't swell his head, Smitty. What you doing? Smitty, what you doing, man?
Oh man. All
Appreciate
right,
you,
man.
man. Okay. Thank you, Lo. We
Oh
appreciate
boy,
it.
that dude is silly.
I don't want everybody to realize, man, sometimes we get lost and caught up. But when you get these guys together, man, it's always a good
Hey,
time.
Uncle
Let me
Steve.
go ahead.
That's why they need to come to the meet and greet. We act the same way in person. We did the exact same thing.
That's nothing but laughter, good times, fun, and dude, that's what we do.
Oh boy,
That's what we do. I'm just gonna call out some of these names, folks, and I apologize that we didn't get to a lot, but we got a lot of folks in here. Carl Johnson in the house. Winston Thornton's in the house. Meet Washington is here. Nando, thank you. We appreciate you. William Amy, Jermaine Walton, Matthew Hubert is in here. Drew, true statement. What's going on, man? Let me put him up here. Drew says, what's up, fellas? Uncle Steve, Big Low Country. How y'all doing today? And no, I will not ease up on Arthur. He's got to put this team in a better situation. Also, this one loss doesn't change his outlook. Drew is true fan in the house. Eric Mack is here. Carl Johnson is here. Carl says, funny thing is the Falcons could have won the game. They just got away from the run.
Yep.
Ritter is that juice that could be at the bottom of a 3-day-old country boil they got left in the heat. God dang, Carl.
Oh man, you rough for that one.
Carl broke it all the way down, man. AP Stay Free is in the house. What's going on? My brother Millie Mills is in the house. What's going on, man? That Billy says, "Man, you know what I say. Ritter will be fine eventually."
Eventually.
My buddy Joe's in the house, man. What's going on? The offense is not built to come back on a regular basis. And Smitty, talk about this because you and I spoke about this before this. Really, when we were watching
We've been talking about
preseason a
this since
little bit.
last year. We've been talking about
Yeah,
this since
we
last
did.
year.
Expound on that for everybody so they can know what you're talking about, brother.
What he means by that, they're built as a run team, which controls the clock, which eats up time. So if they have to be a come from behind team, being a run heavy team, it's going to be a little harder for them to move the ball down the field. Now they do have the weapons to do so, but do you trust the quarterback, or is he competent enough to be one of those guys to come back? And I know he did it against Green Bay. That was just one game, but can he do it on a consistent basis? That's what Joseph means. When you're a run heavy team, controlling the clock is your bread and butter. You got to give and take. Either you're going to be a comfort behind team, a 30-point team, or you're just going to be a run first team, 20 to 25-point team. Let's just be real. When the last time they scored 30, other than the Tampa Bay game last year?
Not, yeah, absolutely. And these are fair critiques, folks. This is not the typical, oh, y'all criticizing this is hate. It's not hate towards Desmond Ritter. Y'all think we want Desmond Ritter to fail? Absolutely
No.
not. He's gonna be
No.
He's got to be the key to our winning. But it's also fair to point out shortcomings. He didn't get help yesterday with the offensive line, but Smitty, there were a couple of throws that he had some time, and that bandwidth just wasn't there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fair. It's fair to bring it up, man.
And that's why I'm always critical of Arthur Smith and his play calling. That's why you got to stay in rhythm with a young quarterback. Absolutely. Keep that run game going, and I think the rest falls in place. And y'all will see it as the season goes on. Y'all will see it.
Absolutely. Ghost Pepper say Southern Silk is back. In the words of the Blues Brother, it's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we wearing sunglasses. Yes, sir. Always. Eric Parker is in the house. What's going on, Eric? Fix that offensive line before they put another quarterback in there. Yeah. Ro Stackson, what's going on, Ro? Says this offensive line been giving up more than 35% of pressures in the last 2 weeks and then gave up 7 sacks. In week 3, Arthur Smith needs to make changes in the offensive line and stop being stubborn. That is absolutely true.
I definitely agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. Rodney Avery is here. Said Dez got to go. It's Mariota all over again. What do you say to the people?
I
was going to go ahead, because I was going to defend that. Say
no. You can't compare him to a veteran quarterback that's been around 9 years. He's only played in 7 games. So until he gets a full season under his belt, then I think you can criticize him to the point where you can say, well, he like this guy and he like that guy. Truth be told, I think Desmond Ritter can throw the deep ball better than Matt Ryan, to be honest. He's got a stronger arm. Let's be real. The only thing he needs to do is work on his accuracy. But Mariota, I think that's a slap in the face, because Mariota is not a competent passing quarterback. He uses his legs more. So that's just not a fair comparison.
And in fairness, Ritter did some good things last week against Green Bay when he had a little time and he was able to locate his receivers. So I'm not quite ready to make that comparison. You're right. That's unfair to him. Dre Woods, Dre says, I'm convinced the O-line hates Ritter. Hence why they refuse to block on the consistent basis.
Y'all got the jokes today, boy.
Hey, Dre. Oh, man. Dan Johnson says, my problem is we spend number ones on Pitts and London and don't give them enough targets. Remember, we could have had Michael Parsons instead of Pitts. I'll say this, and thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. 2 things. 1, 10 other teams could have had Parsons too. We weren't the only one that missed out the boat on Michael Parsons. And if Michael Parsons, you know how they do that on ESPN, they go all the way back. So what if we could redo the draft? Well, none of
I
us
wouldn't.
really know.
I wouldn't.
What's the guy who was killing us yesterday, Smitty? In defense, Branch.
Yep.
Branch went what second round, right?
Yep. He fell to the
Branch
second
was second
round.
round. And did he play like a second rounder yesterday?
Nope. He played like a first rounder.
He played like a top 10 from last year.
And
So
truth be told, he was a top 10 prospect before last year's draft. For some reason he fell to the second round, I guess. And I'm just saying it's his size. He's what 5'11", about 195, 200 pounds. If he's a Cam Chancellor type safety, he may have been a top 5 pick.
Smitty, he played like he was 6'3" yesterday.
Right.
He was playing all over the place. You got to respect that, man. So I hear you about the Parsons thing, but I always have a problem with that. It's because
let me say this right quick.
Go ahead.
Let me say this right quick. You got to think about what they're trying to do as a team. I would have loved Michael Parsons. I would have loved Jalen Carter. They got more offensive weapons because I'm looking at Terry Fontenot. He's trying to build the same thing he had in New Orleans. 2 dynamic running backs, 2 dynamic receivers, and a dominating tight end. And he's done that. So if you think about the way they're building the team, it makes sense. But what they have to do right now with Pitts and London and Robinson, they need to figure out who they're going to build a team around. When they figure that part out, play calling gets easier. Playbook opens up a little bit more because you know exactly who you're building the offense around. Until they figure that part out, it's just going to be plays here, plays there. And I don't like positionless football, but hey, it is what it is.
I mean, and I'll even go one step further before I do the super chat. Smitty, he's getting all of those pieces. Let's just hypothetically say Desmond doesn't work out. At least you still have weapons on that
can
team
play in the system.
That Heineke, a free agent, a draft pick that can come in there and still won't miss a beat because you still have those ancillary pieces up in there. That one Falcon fan, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. Said we face Jacksonville next week in London. Ridley faces us for the first time since week 7 in 2021 versus Miami. I don't know how to feel about this. We got to get better as a whole. I'm ready to throw this one away, that one, and just call this just a bad game. Every team has them. Nobody's gonna go undefeated, and you're just gonna have a rough game. I think this was a rough game for the Falcons. I think they can learn. And as far as Ridley concerned, I hope we beat them by 10, but Ridley goes for 150 and a touchdown because we need that second round pick next year.
Let me say this, man. I would have loved to keep. I would have loved to keep Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley on this team we have right now with openness, make this one of the most dynamic offenses ever. But y'all got to think about the things he went through off the field. Sometimes your mental health is more important than the game of football. Him moving to another city, to another team, I think having that fresh start helps him mentally. That's what I want y'all to understand. It's not about, him catching touchdown passes all the time. Sometimes it's about taking care of self and taking care of mental health.
And let's be honest too. He had mental health, and with all due respect to the mental health, he had kind of checked out of the Falcons.
Right.
A while.
He had worn out his welcome. Right.
Absolutely. So Rusty got the $2 super chat here. Says, thank you, Russ. Appreciate you, brother. Says offensive line got paid and forgot to block. Love to see it. And Rusty has been fair because he's been harping on this for a little while, man. You gotta be fair to Ritter in this particular situation, man. Ritter needs blocking. He needs some folks blocking in front of him, and he's got to have that. I'm gonna run through this real quick, Spitty, because we're gonna jump off here. Let me just acknowledge some of these folks again. Zantega 1990. Thank you, Scott Glover. Thank you so much. Tony Wright is in the house. He said, "Gents, what's going on?" Thank you, Tony. We appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't get to a lot of these folks. Normally we do. Blanco is in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Matt Town Dirty. What's going on, Matt Town? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Says what's up, Unc. Says what's up, Smitty. Always watching Justin Swisher. Ritter is a 4.5 guy. Matt Ryan looks fast.
Matt Ryan
My
ran
buddy
a
Alan Mike
5-1
is in
or
the
a
house.
5-2.
Got one more before I finish, man. Got one more super chat. Good job. That one Falcon fan again. Thank you so much, man. We always got to acknowledge these, man. Y'all feel free to hit us up on these. We both platforms. We pretty appreciate it. He says Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and everyone else had to get in sync. Also, rumor Ridley might miss the flight to bet on the Jags winning. But yeah, I feel a lot calmer now. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat, man. Yeah, man. That Ridley story was so weird. But I'm glad that he's back and appreciate him doing the thing. Yuri is in the house. His line is much better on passing protection. This is true. Appreciate you, Yuri. I said, Alan Mike is here. He said, Unc Smith stash has got to go. The bus stash it's got to get up. Angela Myers is in the house. She said, Smitty, John Abraham on your show yesterday was the bomb. So that she's acknowledging what we do, man. That's awesome stuff. Oscar Soto, appreciate you, Oscar. Says, as much as I love Ritter, we need a quarterback now. Man, just awesome, man. Demetrius is in the house. Demetrius Jeffrey. I'm just glad we aren't the laughing stock of the NFL like the Denver Broncos. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy to happen. And Terry Ward says hello. And Giving Game Sports, man. Giving Game Sports is in the house. What's going on, brother? Said Ritter do be jogging out there. I think he still think he's in college. And P. Rich says, is Clark Phillips hurt? You heard anything about Clark, Smitty?
No, I just think he's been inactive. I don't know what's going on. But the way Trey Flowers get burnt, he should be on the field somehow.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out. Trey, we saying Trey Flowers names for the wrong reasons too many times in these first couple of games, man. We got to get this stuff squared away. But listen, appreciate everyone joining us on the Monday Minutia. And I'd like to thank my special guest, Big Low, who had stepped out and going into his next chat. And my buddy Smitty, man, who always is available when I need him. And I appreciate him being able to add to the chat, man. I appreciate you, Smitty. Tell the folks where you are and tell them again, especially those who didn't see yesterday. Tell them where you on tomorrow.
No problem. A quick shout out to Mike Lahutsky. He says always a fun show. Yes, it is. Y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Y'all can go in the description of any one of my live videos. Check out some other Falcon content creators. If you like it, press the subscribe button, press the notification bell, because like I say, man, they put out just as much work as I do. But tomorrow, again, we're going to have another great show, man. And we're going to try to keep this train moving, man. We're going to have Todd McClure, Falcons Ring of Honor inductee last year, to come join us and see what he's doing nowadays. Just want to know what it feels like to be immortalized as an Atlanta Falcon. That's going to be an interesting conversation. And also, like I said, he got some behind the scene things going on. So make sure y'all tune in, man. Y'all can bring those questions, because we're going to ask him a couple of questions at the end towards the end of the show. And I just might pick your question.
There you go. And like I said again, check out what time again, Smitty?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Smitty Sports Machine or 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Check out both of those sites, and you will see Tom McClure on the screen.
Outstanding. Again, as y'all leaving today, please make sure y'all push a like to the video on both sites. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, what you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to us. Costs every bit of $0. So hook us up. and get up videos out there. Smitty, appreciate you as always, my friend. Thank you so much. I'll be tuned in tomorrow at work. Everyone in the chat, thank y'all again. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us for the Minutia. I'll be back on Friday. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Smitty and Berto tomorrow, but I'll be back Friday, 1 o'clock for the Friday brunch as we get ready to go to London and see all the old chaps over there across the pond. Until then, Smitty, thank you for the night. Everybody else, y'all have a beautiful evening. We'll take care. Y'all be good. See ya.